Hello everybody, it's everyone's favourite feisty feline, Zephyr's Grace Paws here. So, for those unaware, I played the Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading card game for many years until I decided that I wanted to keep my money, stop wasting it on shiny pieces of cardboard that were only really relevant for a couple of months at a time, and after that they didn't really win anymore because, yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is really bad for that. But there are actually a lot of furry cards in Yu-Gi-Oh! So I'm going to go through my top 10. Now, before someone hops in the comments saying, actually you put this one in number 10 but its effect is really relevant in meta, I'm basing this on my personal preferences, okay? Like what I enjoy with the artwork, maybe what I enjoy with the effect, whether it's good or bad. So grab yourself a Pepsi and let's jump in. In at number 10 we have an OG, the real boy. We have Kuriboh. Now, if you remember Kuriboh, this card is right from the first set. I think Kuriboh is in the first episode of the anime as well. Not really sure what kind of animal Kuriboh is. All we know is he be furry. He be furry. Decent effect. I know I'm not gonna talk much about the effect, but the effect is okay. Good back in the day, not so good nowadays, but really cute artwork, plus all the spin-offs like Winged Kuriboh. There was another one, it's like a cyber one. I'll put the image on screen now. But yeah, Kuriboh, number 10, the OG furry Yu-Gi-Oh card. Climbing the mountainside to get himself that number 9 spot, we've got Rescue Hamster. Now, once again, there are quite a few rescue animal cards, but I've picked Hamster because, I mean, just look how adorable he is. He's got the little hat on and he's got the sort of rope so he can abseil down the cliffs. And in terms of being a card, he's fine. I don't think he's great, actually. I don't think I've ever seen anybody use Rescue Hamster. When you compare him to things like Rescue Rabbit, which is a lot better of an effect, but a lot less cute of a card. So here we go. Rescue Hamster, super adorable furry Yu-Gi-Oh card. Okay, now this is the most furry bait card I have ever seen. Fairy Tale Snow. I remember when this was announced, basically everybody at my local Yu-Gi-Oh card shop were just like, oh, furries in my card game. I mean, there's been furries in the card game for a very long time. I mean, some of the other names on this list are very old, but this was the one that was like the most obvious furry bait. And I have a beautiful playmat that I had made custom of all of the Fairy Tale cards. But Snow is my favourite. Snow just looks super cute. Look, she's got that little apple. She's supposed to be like Snow White, but as a furry. Really cute. The effects were actually quite powerful when they came out, but once again with sort of power creep and stuff, not so much. But the artwork stays. The artwork will always be cute. Fairy Tale Snow, in at number 8. Now the others have been pretty furry so far. This one tells you it's furry right in the title. This is Beat Bladesman Fur Hire. Now there are more Fur Hire cards than just Beat, though I've picked Beat because, yeah, Beat's kind of the cutest out of them. You start off with these really small ones that are quite cute, and then you work your way up to like big ones that are a bit more scary, like werewolfy kind of different furry cards. But these were always really cool, and I wanted to build this deck so bad. I remember when it came out, I was like, I need this deck. This is my kind of deck. It's like full on furry, unashamedly, and I love it. But it was really expensive. Like, for some reason, all the cards were super expensive. I can't remember if they were sort of super rare or if they were short print, or if maybe there were a lot of furries in the Yu-Gi-Oh fandom who wanted to play furry decks. I don't know. But unfortunately, I never ended up getting my hands on a Fur Hire deck. Who knows, maybe now that it's no longer massively powerful, I might look into getting the cards. But for the meantime, I'll just settle for looking at the amazing artwork of Beat Bladesman Fur Hire, in at number 7. Now this one is my boy Fluffle Dog. I love Fluffles. They are probably one of my favourite Yu-Gi-Oh archetypes. So Fluffles are amazing because you start off with these little cute things like Fluffle Dog here, and then they turn into giant horrific monsters, a bit like a kind of Five Nights at Freddy's kind of thing, but they are really, really awesome. And look how cute Fluffle Dog is. A lot of the small ones are quite cute, but not as cute as Dog. Dog is just adorable, and I think I've still got that deck somewhere. I used to play that deck so much. Like, that would be my go-to whenever I'd go to play tournaments or whatever. My go-to would always be my Fluffle deck. Not just because of the artwork, mostly because it was really strong, but also because of the artwork, let's be honest. I mean, we've got Dog, we've got Bear, we've got Owl. There's just so many cute ones in this. And then obviously they turn into the really big things like Kraken, Sabertooth, and Wolf. But yeah, in at number 6 we have Fluffle Dog, which kind of also encompasses the whole of the Fluffle archetype, just because nostalgia and also the cuteness factor. Now we're getting into the top 5. We have Performer Pal Oddis Unicorn. Now, there's a mechanic in Yu-Gi-Oh! If you've never played it called Pendulum, and it was really, really broken, and everybody hated it unless they played it, in which case they loved it. The people they played against hated it though. And they had their sort of champion archetype were Performer Pals and Oddis, which kind of came together with this sort of dual card, Performer Pal Oddis Unicorn. And I mean, just look how adorable Performer Pal Oddis Unicorn looks. It's like this really cute, almost plush looking unicorn, and it's got the sort of odd eyes effect that all of the Odd Eyes cards had. Not to mention this card was super powerful back in the day. I mean, if you know anything about Yu-Gi-Oh, it'll mean something to you to see an 8 scale for the Pendulum. And also, like, its effect was crazy. I believe at one point it was limited to only allowed 1 in your deck because it was so powerful, the normal amount being 3. So effect wise it was awesome, artwork wise it's awesome, and furry wise it's awesome. Fucking Big Koala. Crikey mate, I'm gonna stop that accent right there. We've got Big Koala, who isn't a great card, but he is very, very cute. This is another kind of older card. I love the artwork of him like scranning on some trees with some koalas just like nipping at his heels, because he's a big koala. He is a hefty boy. And I mean, he's not got an effect, which means that he gets a little bit of flavor text. So whenever there's not an effect on a card, they just give you a little bit of flavor text to kind of, for something to put in that box really, if anything. So, Big Koala. A species of huge des koala. He's meek, but people are afraid of him because he's very powerful. So there we go, we've got the hefty boy himself, the Big Koala, in at number 4. Now in at number 3, I know I mentioned Fluffles already, but I think this one gets an honourable mention for the super, super cuteness factor of Fluffle Mouse. Now, Fluffle Mouse, I don't really include it with the rest of the Fluffles because I never particularly played it in my Fluffle deck. That and it's fine, but its effect is a little bit slow, so you don't tend to see it in play much. However, the artwork is adorable. You've got this super cute, chubby little mouse with a donut, and he's got his little wings, and he's super, super adorable. Not the best card in the world, but certainly one of my favourites from like an artwork perspective. That and nostalgia, like looking at Yu-Gi-Oh cards just brings me that nostalgia of back when I used to play, and it actually kind of makes me want to play again. But I'm going to resist that urge for the time being. So there we go, that was number 3, Fluffle Mouse. So for the top 2 spot, I was thinking about some of the decks that I used to play when I was like really into Yu-Gi-Oh! And one that sprung to mind were the Frog deck. Now, I could have picked any of the frogs. We've got Dupe Frog, we've got Swap Frog, we've got Ronin Toadin, one of the key elements of the deck, but I had to go for the big boy himself. Totally awesome. Yes, they really called it that. They genuinely, Konami America sat down and went, do you know what we're going to name this card in the English language version of this game? We're going to call it Totally Fucking Awesome. And you know what? Thumbs up. 10 out of 10. They get the Zephyr's Grace Paws seal of approval for that, because it's hilarious. But, more importantly, Look how cute it is. I mean, we've got these two frogs just chilling. There's a little apple. I don't know why there's an apple, but there's an apple. I think it's a pun in the Japanese version, which didn't really work in the English version, so they just called it Totally Awesome. One of my favourite cards. Also, the effect is completely broken and I love it. It's basically a card that says your opponent cannot play the game, and it's amazing if you can get it out, which the frog deck pretty much did consistently. So in at number 2, Totally Awesome. And in at the number 1 spot, I've got to pick my favourite furry Yu-Gi-Oh card, and that would have to be Magispector Raccoon Bumbuku. Now, the Magispectors were an amazing, really fun, for me, archetype, which were essentially cute forest animals that could do magic and would basically negate your opponent from playing the game. I've got a very specific playstyle, it turns out, and it's I like to play the game, but I don't like it when my opponent plays the game. However, Bumbuku is super adorable, one of like the biggest cards in the deck, because it just allows you to chain off it and get super into it and, you know, progress your turn massively. But other than being a good card, he's just super cute. I mean, look, he's a cute little raccoon, and he's got a little whirlwind because he's magic and that. Love it. I absolutely love it. And unfortunately, because of like the new rules that have come out in Yu-Gi-Oh!, it's completely destroyed pendulum cards like Bumbuku here. So unfortunately, the deck is basically unplayable. So I will never again be able to experience the majesty of Magispectors. However, he's here. Number 1, Magispector Raccoon Bumbuku. So there we go, those are some of my favourite furry Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I hope you all enjoyed this. This was something a little bit different. I'm not sure how many of you have heard of or have played Yu-Gi-Oh, but if you're ever looking to collect, just know there's a ton of cute furry cards out there. Thank you all for watching. Remember to like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.